Fortuner, Montero Sport, Terra, MUX, Trailblazer, and Everest. These 6 names are the most popular SUVs in the Philippines today. They're called PPVs, or pickup passenger vehicles. These SUVs are, again, very popular because they have 7 seats, they have plenty of ride height, they have a lot of performance going for them, and of course they're very practical on the everyday drive. But I'd like to add one more name to that list, and that's this, the Foton Toplander. Let's go see what this SUV is all about. Foton, as you may know, is a Chinese car company and one of their biggest. But in the Philippines, the Chinese car companies haven't fared too well, except for Foton. Actually, Foton is in the top 10 of the best-selling car companies in the country, which is unusual, again, for a Chinese car brand. They were able to achieve this by focusing on the heavy-duty market and focusing on the provinces. They have plenty of outlets all around the country before they really started to go for the capital, Metro Manila. And this is their SUV offering, their first foray into it, the Foton Toplander. Being that Foton actually has a lot of experience when it comes to commercial vehicles, I expected an interior that's not exactly up to par with many of the competitors. Thankfully, by the looks of it, I'll be pleasantly surprised, because the interior, the dashboard, the seats, all the plastics and other surfaces actually look to be of pretty good quality, all things considered. I mean, you have some kind of leather here. The plastics themselves, if you look, they're neatly textured. They don't scuff up too easily. If you feel the shifter, if you feel actually any kind of surface here, it's not too bad. Again, if you tap it, it's still gonna be plastic, but to the eye at least, the Foton's interior is actually pretty good. If you happen to be seated in the middle row of the Foton Toplander, again, don't worry, it's actually a nice place to be in. You got plenty of legroom, unless you're really tall. You've got grab handles so you can get in and out very easily. Cup holders there on the floor. You've got power windows right here. And actually some very, very soft seats. It's surprising how soft these actually are, and that's gonna be good for long drives or long hours in traffic. But what I really like is if there's nobody in the middle, you can just turn the center seat into an armrest. So this is the Foton Toplander in its most spacious configuration for cargo. If you actually look, both the third row and the second row have been folded forward or down. And it even comes with a little ledge that allows you to have a fully flat space, which is pretty good, especially if you're loading long pieces of cargo or stuff like that. Over here you have another compartment for tools and the like. But one thing I found very different is that this thing came with a fire extinguisher. Should I be scared? At the heart of the Toplander is a rather potent engine. It's a 2.8-liter turbo diesel from Cummins. Yes, the same company that makes a lot of good diesel engines that are used in commercial vehicles and the like. In the engine for the Toplander, it makes 163 horsepower and 360 Newton meters of torque. Those numbers are actually pretty good and should be plenty to move around this 2-ton SUV. Handling all the power and torque is a 6-speed automatic gearbox driving the rear wheels. Now, there used to be 4x4 versions of the Toplander, but current models, especially the ones assembled in Clark, Pampanga, are no longer 4x4. In other markets, the Foton Toplander is actually known by a very different name, the Savannah. Now, in the case of the Philippines, the Toplander is, again, like and many of its competitors, a body-on-frame SUV, meaning it borrows the platform from the pickup brother, which is, in this case, the Thunder. The Toplander is not at the forefront in terms of design, but the look is very unique and certainly not borrowed from anywhere else. The proportions, the lines, the height, and the wheels all look very proper for an SUV like the Toplander. The front end, again, it's a very unique thing for Foton. It does not resemble anything else and actually conveys quite a bit of strength regardless of the angle that you view it from. A height and overall presence that is uniquely its own. Now, while it certainly won't win any awards in terms of a beauty contest, the Toplander does look good in this very proud shade of blue. If I were to pick one word to describe how the Foton Toplander drives, it would be burly. You've got that note coming from the engine bay. While for some it may not be pleasant, but it does convey a bit of strength when it comes to, to moving this much weight up a mountain. That Cummins 2.8-liter engine has plenty of torque and plenty of power for a vehicle of this size. While not class-leading, you can certainly appreciate the torque, especially on the uphill. But there's also the suspension. Now, normally, many of the PPVs have already become a bit softer when it comes to ride, and that's a good thing. In the case of the Toplander, I think it's still meant to carry a lot of weight, which is good. I mean, if you like carrying a lot of stuff or making long drives, with a lot of people and their luggage on a regular basis, you're going to appreciate the Toplander, because once you start putting weight on it, it's going to get a lot more comfortable and it's going to balance it all out. But for now, it can seem a little bit on the bumpy side, but again, that's okay. It's not too unpleasant, actually far from it. And you've got a lot of creature comforts going for you in this vehicle for the price. One quick look around the cabin, and it's easy to see that Foton really checked every single thing they could in terms of specs on the spec sheet when they were building the Toplander. Again, on the steering wheel, I've got steering wheel audio controls for the audio system. Of course, it's off right now because I won't be able to talk to you. The other one is you've got cruise control. Again, not that expected for a vehicle of this price. You've got a nice 2-DIN audio unit which can play a variety of things, and I believe it's Android. So hooking up your Bluetooth, your USB, your iPod, what have you, it's going to be very easy here. Climate control is standard, though it can be very cold, which is, again, in the summer, it's a good thing. And looking around, what else do you see? Power windows, and again, it's all auto, meaning one touch up and down for all 4 windows. Again, unexpected. Overall, it's a very well-equipped package. And one thing that I really did not expect is for this to have a drive mode selector. Right beside the shifter, you can actually see that there's an eco button, meaning you can program how the gearbox, that 6-speed automatic, how it behaves. If you want it to be more economical, you can. If you want sporty, you can. If you want to drive in winter, which I don't see how it's going to be very useful here, you can. Again, plenty of features. Also, hill descent control and even stability control. There are also quite a few unique or unexpected features with the Toplander. For one, on the side mirrors, it's unexpected for this vehicle, or at least a vehicle of this price, to have a wide angle, mini mirror, if you would. And both both of the mirrors actually have it. It makes it easier to maneuver because you can see a much wider view. It's very small, but again, it's a good thing. You've got headlamp levelers, again, not too common in the class. You've got headlamp washers, also uncommon, and well, plenty more. Actually, the more you look around, the more you'll appreciate all these little touches that they made, to make the Toplander just that little bit better than, well, many of the vehicles of the same price. For around 1.5 million pesos, the Foton Toplander 4x2 automatic has a lot going for it, even in this very competitive PPV or MSUV class, depending on how you want to look at it. It's got great features, a unique look, a powerful and reliable turbo diesel from Cummins, a nice 6-speed automatic, and an interior that's actually quite comfortable and versatile, especially with the fold-flat system for the second and third rows. Now, the competitor models will definitely dominate the segment, but the Toplander has one very important thing going for it. It's actually assembled here, and that means jobs. For us, that counts for quite a bit. This is Vince of AutoIndustriya.com, and we hope you have a great and safe drive this summer.